You can allow me on some of your time. We go through our speed and project collaborator. A new uncovered full stack experience the blue is with the frequency. Now, when we think of full stack experience solution for your organization's online virtually future, first the original email, such as traditional Microsoft phone, a traditional workspace, and a custom SSD that you may have set up. We don't currently provide support for a custom SSD setup, but the estimated time frame which we can provide definitely for right now is Q3, which is generally pretty simple. Now, the other avenue is collaborative tools. What are collaborative tools? Those are tools such as Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, Google Drive, Slack, Dropbox. And there's a few more that we also offer now. So, talking about those two avenues, our competitive edge that we provide full security for both avenues. Additionally, our product is never learning from static data. It is continuously learning and adapting from each single email in real time. It does not rely on just a preset data set that can be console, but instead continually updates its knowledge based on both recent information it's ingested, ensuring it's learning the newest attacks seconds or minutes, the emails of hours are sent out. Lastly, our product can detect compromised accounts and lock things out, detect its outdations, and much more. Now, let's walk through on a starting with our UI. This is where you would come, create an account, or even collaboration. You would see a welcome screen, and on that welcome screen, there will be just like a start button. So if there is writings here on this Gmail, so for example, say you're starting Gmail, obviously I already have what this is kind of started, but say you're starting Gmail, click start, click start, are you sure you want to start? Yes. And then we will go through the process, a little pop-up, saying, hey, do you authorize the start of this? Do you want to use a, an admin type user to start the ad? So now let's say, for example, that you started over 65. What's the first thing we do once you start it? The very first thing we do is we create ourselves what is called a enterprise application. So what is and so for example, as you can tell, we are in your intro and we are here under enterprise applications. And then here is what our application is called. So what is purpose of this enterprise application? To go as you can see here, we're giving ourselves access to essentially two modules on the Office 365. We're giving ourselves access to the Microsoft Graph API, and we're giving ourselves access to the uh, online exchange module. What do we need to wire those two access? Why do we need access to those two modules? Very simple, essentially to make our product work. So as you can see, Graph API, we are asking for the ability to rewrite mailboxes. This essentially would be to move emails in and out or to different folders. Say once the email has been delivered, let's say you need to make it just one email, email delivered, it was plain, all of a sudden not phishing because the internet been compromised, say we need to perform to that email now, that's sitting in the root spot where we obviously need access to reach the API and read from the mailbox. We need to read the profiles of the users. Obviously, this is gives us our anomaly engine a picture of the user. So our AI can understand like what this user should be doing, what this user should not be doing, as far as interactions with its emails, OneDrive, things like that. Again, same concept. Below for this one, we're asking for mailboxes, reading and writing our groups. We do this because we create a group in your Microsoft tenant, and that's how we manage essentially which users are going to be scanned what we call inline, or we scan the equal for a descent box or terminate, we scan the after rest low box. Again, we'll need to get tips on that one. Send mail as a user. We do this to send emails on behalf of the user if that user is requesting a resource. And one of the workflows that the email is phishing is that you can allow the user to request a restoration of that quarantine email. Because, say our AI model has detected an email as phishing. However, uh, it is very clear that despite it has some very phishing context, it's just maybe a failure on the sender part. Like a good example is a sender is using a third party to send emails on their behalf. Well, they haven't set up that third party to send properly or authenticate with the companies or vendors domain. So it's almost like, there's spoofing their own domain with the third party they're paying for. We point to, right? It's phishing, but you and the employee and the vendor all understand it's not. So again, that's when that user is going to request a restore the email, and then we send a restore request on behalf of the user to the admin so the admin can go see and take action from there. Again, mailbox settings. This is most executable with a gray mail workflow where we create folders for the user and then we route them up to the specific folder. Um, again, this is mostly about dealing with the directory. This is about being able to read your audit logs, so like logging events or mail forwarding events or big deletion events. We want to ingest all that information because we want to not miss any type of compromise type activity. So because there's like, one a big compromised account activity is forward a bunch of emails or empty the mailbox. We want to be able to see those events in real time to take action. Access directory as a single user. That is specifically to again read what is going on with your directory because with the Graph API, we not necessarily have access to like your intro, but more of just the identity service on the Microsoft side to we essentially all your user base. If we go to the Exchange module side, we are looking mostly kind of similarly the same type of permissions. A big difference in between the two is you're going to see the exchange here, the full access app here, and those are the two big ones. So what are the two big ones there? That is how we build our configuration on your end, because a lot of the stuff that needs set up in the Microsoft tenant cannot be done over Microsoft API, has to be done over Exchange PowerShell. So that is our app in a nutshell. I'm sure other permissions when it comes to just management APIs. Again, this is mostly just to continue to read more data, to ingest it for AI, so our AI can better understand the environment. Again, so it's a permission. Google has the same thing. They say you use Google Workspace, same thing with that. And the app generally have the same permissions on the side because we need to do the same stuff. So that's pretty straightforward there. So, okay, you click start. We created ourselves this enterprise application. Now, your next question should be, okay, well, what are you doing to get my emails? Right, great question. Very first thing we're doing, we're creating a journal. Journal, very simple. All a journal rule is saying, as you can see, send all messages to here. Very straightforward. There's nothing else. You can actually see it in the messages. Unless this was good, you can actually see it in the messages. It would say, um, it would just have an action that says journal, and then that journal would be journal address. You would see would be here. Again, this is how we do all your emails. And when I'm getting an email that's going to your inbox, it's simply a journal copy of the email. So that's the first thing. Your email. And we would get that email if you were not in what we call or prevent program. We would get that. We would utilize that if you were in what we call monitor or to do media use when we did a copy email scan and it takes action after the fact. So emails are scanned after the delivery to the users as you can read. So it's okay. So that's how we did emails if you were to take a later. Now go as the same thing. You go to your financials, we have here inbound monitor. So essentially all this is really I know what it's saying. If the email is coming inbound and it's not on this ID, sorry, we don't want this set that start note. Add this header and add this route as a recipient, and then obviously this route is this same concept as here. This now you understand that. Now, what if you wanted to go through our our recommended workflow, which is here on the screen. Sender is, say sender is an attacker. And attacker sends anyone to your Microsoft tenant. Your Microsoft tenant does not need to relay the window, right? We want the Microsoft tenant or Google Workspace sending us last. So we can scan it and validate its safeness or if it's phishing just validate classification of the email. So question is how do so what we will do is for specifically for Microsoft, we will create transfer rules. Transfer rules are what Microsoft uses to define mail flow or mail routes. So, for example, you would press the send right to your Microsoft Tenant. Your Microsoft Tenant now goes to the journal rules and takes action upon what's defined by these journal rules. So, email comes in, it's going to actually hit this character, assuming that you are informant, right? With all your it is going to hit this rule because this rule is saying if it is sent to inside of the organization, so any of you, and it's sent to a member of the group, and essentially these groups are just groups that we pre-populate of any of the users that you have here. But if you select all, then the group is just going to maintain all your users stuff. And then lastly, is received from an outside organization. So, pretty clear. Is sent to the incubator and received from a some sender. You the following. Route the message via the connector, checkpoint outbound, less maybe, and then obviously it's add header. And then stop message rules, which means, stop going that list, stop doing it. Use the connector to route us. And connectors are very simple. Right? All connectors are pretty much saying is, hey, if this is called by the transfer rule, which means look at it, this is being called by the transfer rule, route the message here. And this is us, right? Uh, this is simply just us. So this is where the okay. So now go back to our whiteboard. Hey, now we have the email, which is what we want. Like we wanted the email. We need to validate if it's being, if it's spam, if it's phishing, if it's spam. Okay, so what do we do when we get the email? Very first thing we do, we put it in our S2 backup. It goes here. It goes into various locations. So even if it's phishing, even if it has malware, it is going to be a very safe, secure situation. So from there, what happens is all the security group, right, that we have constantly running, uh, get a copy of the email. And now they need to make a decision on the status of the email. So the phishing AI model we set aside as the email phishing is the email explainer, which means it's safe to deliver it, but it's spam. Like what is it? What is the AI model classification? Right? Emulation essentially looks at any attachments. We send in from there, it's finding the same thing. Is the attachment malicious? Is the attachment clean? Deals with this is generally for outline. So from opposite of what we just talked about, so the B from is sent from a user inside the organization to a user outside the organization. Well, anyways, the DLP agent needs to inside. Is there a data leak here? And if so, what type of data leaks? And then from there, it'll tell you about it. So then we have ChatGPT. That's just what we'll talk about. It's just gonna see if the email is a sign up email or a new SaaS that it's never seen before. And then obviously the links are gonna be sent to your organization. And then your organization is going to decide if the links are malicious, they're safe, and take action from there. So now, let's take the example where the email is phishing, right? So say the area model is defining email as phishing. Well, very simple. We don't send it back. And this is where the left was up. Email does not get sent back to the Microsoft Center. Very simple. This is what we call permission lead, right? We have not performed send the email, which essentially means we do not send it back to your Microsoft tenant, so your Microsoft tenant can deliver to us. We quarantine an email. It is now safe and secure in our XP backup. It's going to be there for minimum 180 days. You can change that, but that's our default policy. It's going to be there for 180 days. The user is going to have if you set workflow to get notified that email that is was quarantined and restore. Assuming so when they request the restore, you're obviously going to get like an email saying, hey, your XYZ has a restore. You can also go to the UI, you can go to restore requests and see the list of the restore requests that are pending from here. Very, very simple UI, right? It's just pretty much saying, hey, admin, you have these two people restore requests that have been requested by this recipient. Here are the senders, and from there, just kind of let it take action on whatever you deem that's fit. Whether that be proof, which is being very short or decline it, and bring back not going for them. So now, what would the email is clean? Right. So if the email is clean, what we are going to do is we are going to continue to melt up, and we're going to send. We're going to send the email back to your Microsoft tenant to then allow it to be delivered to the inbox of the so we send the email back to the user and obviously we want to make sure that Microsoft understands that we ourselves are sending the email back to trust because we got to define it. It's free, there's no need to Microsoft to provide any sort of further information here. So that's what this transfer was. Checkpoint point list. So what this is doing is saying if the email is from here, from any of these IPs, these are the US IPs, the US customer. This is what you're going to see. Set the S code, says CS code is number one. That's a byte of the scash. And again, it's then going to deliver to the box. Additionally, we also have two other things to also help to make sure that Microsoft understands that if we're sending the email back after inline state to accept it and not taking any action on it. The big one is here, scoop senders. Either are US domains. So pretty much what it's saying is if they understand basically it's going from us to essentially use, uh, consider it safe. And then also we have a inbound connector. And so we're telling Microsoft, hey, see these IPs. This is actually a partner organization. So trust that you know that's the way that Google has generally the same thing, which is called an inbound gateway. And that is saying, hey, all these IPs are safe and allowed to be essentially delivered to the users box. Again, so once the email has been delivered, we are going about that. We can continuously monitor that email. So anytime something changes or all of a sudden the vendor is now compromised, we can take those delivery actions on the email and once assuming it hasn't been delivered from the inbox, not saying just since it's deleted folder, but that actually has been deleted from the exchange online folder. Because that's how we do this. We actually delete the exchange online model, which is what stores the email for the user to see in the box. So that is our outflow and how we provide our protection with Google, sorry, sharing not just Google, but also with Microsoft. Now we can go through our UI. Here, our UI is very friendly. We have an overview page where you can see your experience that are most recent and also define these little widgets here. So if you want to customize them, you want to adjust to anything else, or your favorite custom each other, could totally do that. If we have the events page, this page is telling you all the events that are occurring. So for example, you can filter by all these threat types. So say you're gonna look at this DLP security events we acted upon or detected or malware, phishing, or anything, so on, so on, so on, so on. I mean, you can filter that, see you can get by. The time frame that you can select here, we have different states that you want to choose from. Remediated means, we take our action. Detected means we simply detected no action. Pending, kind of the same concept. It is pending an action that can be taken. Detected means that there generally is no action. To pending means that you can still create an action for the security event. And then obviously, yeah, that's percent. Scary. It's all this is auto defined by us most of the time. So obviously we can have like a phishing email that's into 500 users, very critical security, or we have spam that was generally sent to two users of media. That kind of stuff we put by SAS that you can run. You just want to check your Gmail, you just check it out, fell off of your fire. And so on and so on. Now, as far as kind of like our bread and butter here, this is allows you to very easily find any email that has been in and out of your Microsoft or Google Workspace. Very simple to use, uh, very simple searching features, search by single email, search by subject, search by combination. Generally, however you want to search this, you would find set email. User interaction mostly goes over any computer service that you talked about earlier, or any user that's reported email phishing. Again, we can go over that. And another time, these are going to show you all the quarantine emails that we have quarantine non-records or bad. Modified attachments, kind of the same thing. Any emails that we have modified through that accumulation. smart banners. Talk about it. Essentially, this is just setting up running banners on the specific emails that you can see here. We have a great box. Analytics, and this is where you create custom queries, see all the data in real time. We can go through that obviously later on. Archiving is a big feature of ours. Archiving essentially storage rate goes up to 7 years. And it holds storage from AWS, which is a beautiful thing. VMark, we can manage VMark reporting for you if you would like. SSDM, this is a new feature of ours. And what this does is it monitors any risk assessments in your direct event report. And then here is where you would create your policy to define what workflows you would like to have. So here is the evaluation. Here is the efficient that we talked about. User allowed to restore. It's a step of fishing. Our user receives a warning, malware, the only piece of malware. What you would do if you see like advertisement grading on, so on and so on. We can again define what policies for all your assets that you have here. And that is how it. Now, when you think of email security, here are all our what we call engines that are constantly running that have the ability to capture any of these types. For example, DLP, data loss protection. We have the ability to stop an email from leaving your organization that potentially may have uh, PII information in, or input information, or maybe it has special source code that a employee you trying to send out, maybe not on purpose, but still we have the ability to capture the email, stop it, alert the user, and alert the administrator of primary collaboration, let's say stop malware. It's very straightforward. We can prevent malware from coming into your organization from external senders. Phishing, same concept. We have an external sender trying to send your organization a phishing email. Well, I'm not going to make it to the user's inbox. We also can stop users from sending phishing internal to internal. So, say user gets compromised, but later you'll find out that we shouldn't block the compromise account before they send the phishing email. But for whatever reason, say they get compromised, they actually phish other internal users. We, with the event, should be able to notice that's happening and pull those internal emails from the mailbox on a non-meat engine. That comes into play with what I just talked about being able to block the user. We should be able to understand that an account is compromised and stop the compromise by kicking the user out of the login session they're in and essentially block the sign in on it, which means sure, maybe they have a bathroom, maybe even they change the event, but we send an API call to your Microsoft and or we work with Sync just blocking the sign in. So it's irrelevant if they have a or two factor or the password for the uncompromised account. Shadow IT. What is Shadow IT? Shadow IT is very simple. It is essentially shadowing all the SaaSes or other applications that your users are using, and we are presenting that to you in the UI that people will get in. But for example, say one of the marketing team downloads Commander, which is like a creative tool to design flyers and similar. Well, assuming that that user or some associated users have never used Canva before, we should be able to alert you that, hey, you have a new user that has signed up for SaaS and they're not using Canva. How do we do that? Again, this is monitoring your inbox. So we're looking for emails that are such as sign up emails, right? We're looking for email clarification. So yeah, email saying like, hey, thank you for signing up. Please just link to activate your account. That type of stuff. Spam, we all know what spam is. Green email, again, we all know what green email is. And then malicious URL. So you URLs that come into your organization via email. So maybe the email itself is right. It's from a legit vendor. Say the vendor, reuses the same link over and over, but maybe with different parameters. And all of a sudden, that vendor it gets compromised. Then make the link that they use for their hundreds of customers now the URL. Assuming you're using our local return protection, if we go there later, uh, we should be able to, in real time, stop the user from progressing to the malicious site, even if it's sitting in the inbox, and even if they clicked it many times before. As long as it becomes malicious sometime, uh, and protection has rewritten the link, we should be able to stop it. On the collaborative tool side, we have the same thing that we show up, same concept, phishing, same concept. Malware is obviously the big thing here because we're sharing files among these collaborative tools. So that's kind of like our big uh, feature when it comes to collaboration. Also, we know that you say share files outside of the organization that contain, that very sensitive security number, driver's license, and of course, the users do not access. It's attached to the PDF. They need to send it out. But they just attach the wrong PDF, and that PDF has, some passport numbers, and there it goes out to a vendor, and obviously, we go to stop that.